Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, my group and I from Group 5 of Public Speaking from FPSK Group will be presenting about speech for special occasion. Let's go. Okay, let's move on to the group members. We have 6 person in our group, which is Amira Sofia binti Khairul Anwar, Muhammad Najimuddin bin Muhammad Suhaidi, Sayyidatun Nisa binti Syahrul Harizam, Muhammad Harith Syahmi bin Muhammad Syafi'i, Nurul Munawirah binti Muhammad Farid Rizwan, and also Muhammad Nabil Najmi bin Muhammad Afandi. Okay, for the introduction for speech for special occasion. Speech for special occasion is a speech designed to adhere to address and engage the context and audience emotions on a specific occasion. Speech for special occasions is not a norm specifically in Malaysia, but implemented widely in any other parts around the globe. However, some groups or communities have speeches in accordance to the occasions they organize, celebrate, and commemorate. A speech for special occasion normally because it is 1. A competition, organized and participated because of the objective of celebrating the occasion. 2. Invited. The organizer keen to have the invited speaker to say something about the occasion. Okay, let's move on to the next part of the slide.
Alright, moving on to the next slide. Speech for a campaign. Campaign is a well-planned strategy for achieving a goal. Moving on to the next slide. A strong campaign speech can persuade, inspire, and motivate people, making up for other campaign flaws. You can do these 3 steps to make sure your speech more interesting and more effective. First, you need to talk slowly, and then as if you are having a conversation with the audience, make sure your audience is hearing to you and understand it. Last but not least, keep your language simple and straightforward.
So let's go to the next section, which is speech for a special dinner. So what are the primary purpose? It is to entertain people or give some memories about what have been through in the moment together. So when a speech for a special dinner, often giving at breakfast or lunch gathering, but usually during dinner or after dinner. So now let's go to the next page, which is guideline after dinner speeches. So the first one is lighter in tone than other type of speeches. Almost any topic is appropriate, but bear in mind it should not be technical or argumentative. These materials should be chosen for their entertainment value, but rather than their persuasive strength, because listeners are looking for a good natured talk. It required careful preparation and clearly organized around central terms. Moreover, the represent should be practiced to enhance desired impact on audience. Represent also can include humor to make the audience laugh and chuckles. Humor goes naturally out of the speech materials, but somehow many accents after dinner speech contain no humor.
So next, we move on to speech for informal ceremonies such as birthdays, weddings, and also anniversaries. So the objective of speech in birthdays, weddings, and anniversaries is usually seen as an opportunity for the speechmaker to wish on behalf of himself and his family all happiness to the people of the hour. So, if you're wondering how to write an informal speech, here are a few do's to keep in mind. Firstly, introduce yourself. No matter how large or small the celebration is, it's likely you will not be familiar with many of the guests. So, next, keep it short and sweet. You want your speech to be meaningful and memorable, but the ceremony is not about you, and yours is not the only speech. And number three, add humor. Don't be afraid to be funny. Another tip for how to write an informal speech is that if you've got a light-hearted, creative, joking side, use it and add humor to your speech. Everyone likes to be entertained. Last but not least, keep in mind that it's okay to be simple and meaningful. If entertaining isn't your thing, that's okay. Don't force it, just be yourself. it's okay to be simple and meaningful with your speech. Always keep in mind that when you go to write an informal speech, that what's important is that you are genuine and speak from the heart.
Hi, okay, now if we are given an opportunity to give a speech at burial ceremony, there are three aims in this speech. The first one is to reflect and recall the relationship between those who are present, which is their families, their close friends, their relatives, and the deceased. Recall back all the memories and how have they cherished their life before. And next is to to calm down, to help the mourners, those that are feeling regrets and sad about their loss with the disease, to feel better by remembering back all the things that the disease has done with them, and to ask them to pray for the disease. And lastly, to appreciate the disease by mentioning each and every significant contributions and deeds that the disease has done. So that's how we give a ceremony give a speech in burial ceremony. It is to help those who are present to remember their time with the disease and cherish it, and also to let us all feel better to depart with the disease. That's all.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Siratanisa Nizam. Move on to the next ideas, which is speech for a royal celebration. Is how we want to greet the member of royal family in speech. What royal was that we must do in the ceremony? First of all is greet the queen in a specific way. Use the right greetings. On the presentation of the queen, the correct address is Your Majesty. Second is dress appropriately. For women, he should wear a tasty dress and not a white one. Meanwhile, for men, remember that don't wear a formal suit that include long jackets and vests. And lastly is very early. Guests should arrive before the royal. The queen is the last arrival. So that's all for the do's in the royal ceremony. Royal rules that we must avoid during the ceremony. Firstly is leave before the queen. Because it is considered rude. Guests should never leave an event before the royal unless the permission has been granted. Second is turn your back on Her Majesty. At all the time, let Their Majesty took the lead. So that's all for the royal rules that we must avoid during the royal ceremony.
Okay, we have reached the end of our presentation video. Last but not least, we should take notes of the tips mentioned for each types of occasions and take it as a tips to improve our speech giving skills. Let's strive to become a better speaker. Thank you. Bye-bye.